new client, what does that kind of look like as far as like what are you trying to find out about them to know how you can offer what you can do for them?
But the first thing we really do is we come and we do a lunch and learn. So each client gets a consultant. So that consultant works with the client and gets to understand their business, and he's their go-to.
So what are those pain points and how can we help them solve them? We've kind of changed the way we do our initial engagements, traditionally in the managed services space.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the FIP Printing Pros podcast. I'm your host, Josh Dynison, and today I've got Matt and Wes with me with Think Technologies, and they're going to describe and we're going to talk about their business, and they are in the AI space, which obviously now, which is becoming huge, and so we're really interested to really hear more about what you guys do, where you guys kind of came from, how where you guys are heading in the future, where you see, and we'd love to pick your guys' brains on all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves and kind of what you do in the business.
I'm Matt Villella. I'm the CEO. I do business development.
And I'm Wes Boggs. I am the VP of Operations, and I am our AI evangelist, I guess is probably the best word. I've really dove in a couple years ago and saw that it was the future and started figuring out how internally at Think we were going to start applying it to our business and start becoming more efficient. So that's kind of what my life has turned into. And I also run the service department, so everyone in service delivery rolls up to me.
So you are more of the, I guess, the subject matter expert, not saying you're not, but like that's your main focus, and then you're more on like the business side of like
10,000 foot view, big picture.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got to have both in the business.
Yes. 100%.
Even in my business, my business partner, I'm the more the business side, and she is in the back in the production area, making sure all that flows and all that. So like you got to have really, especially when you're a team and business partners, it's really good to have like two different sides, because if you both were...
Yeah. We've actually got three. We've got one other partner who's not here, right? And between the three of us, we've got big picture overview, right? 10,000 foot view. I tend to be really good at like looking around the corner and figuring out where the market's moving and what's next and what we need to do to survive, because businesses are like a shark. If you're not moving, you're going to die, right? So you've got to, where are we going?
Especially in technology.
Yeah, and then our third partner, Adam, who's not with us today, his superpower is like check boxes, lists, processes. Let's make sure that we can repeat these things. Let's be efficient. Right, so between the three of us, we do a pretty good job. We're lucky to be together.
Well-rounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, I guess, how. First of all, how did you guys come together? To even was there all three of you originally, or was it just started with one?
Just me.
Just you? Okay.
Yeah. So I owned a large equipment company, rental company, back in 2000, 2010. And after 2008, it was really hard in that industry.
Oh, yeah.
By 2010, I had to actually file bankruptcy and close my business. And my current in-house IT person came to me after I closed the business and said, would you like to get into the cloud hosting business? And I was like, what is that? Right. So he explained to me the concept. Ocala is one of only two cities in Florida that has a municipal fiber ban. So the city put in the fiber. So we leveraged that. We leveraged that fiber, and we delivered to our clients, our potential clients, basically a network in a box. So using terminal services, they would go through the internet, through the fiber, and they would access their infrastructure at our data center. And so they wouldn't have to have a server there at their location. They would just have to have a PC, and they could access everything that way.
Okay.
So that's how we built Think Technologies. It was a cloud-based cloud hosting company. We did that for about 3 years, and I met a gentleman named Scott Keene in South Florida through a personal friend, and he had a large MSP, managed service provider. That's a large IT company. And we hit it off, and we decided, hey, let's maybe work together. I'll build North Florida. You keep building South Florida. We'll make this nice, big, large MSP. They were already large. They were a 45-person operation, which in IT is big.
Yeah.
We were 4. So we got together, and at that company, it was called L7, and we worked under that name, L7. Wes was the operations manager there, director of operations. He was the second guy after the owner. And Adam worked there as well, our other business partner. He ran the service desk.
Okay.
So I was working with L7 for 3 years, running North Florida location. And we grew rapidly in that 3-year period. We brought on a lot of clients because we weren't an MSP. We were a cloud hosting company, but learned and developed how to be an MSP, managed service provider, which means that clients contract with us under a contract, and we work for them that way. It's not break fix. That's what the difference between just an IT company is and a managed service provider.
Yeah.
Like if you called us up at Think and said, "Hey, come work on my computer," we wouldn't do that. You'd have to be under contract.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's what an MSP is.
Yeah, and it's flat fee, right? We get the businesses aligned, because in the traditional break fix model, I've got no reason to do a great job, right? Because I work myself out of business. Where in a managed service provider, the only way we make money is that we deliver it really efficiently. You know, when you're making money, we're making money. So it's kind of a flipping it on its head.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
So I worked there for 3 years. I got to know Wes really well. He was my right-hand guy. He basically taught me everything about MSP work. So did Adam, my other partner. But the owner of that business was, in a nice way, he wasn't a very nice guy. We all didn't enjoy working for him. I think Wes was the first to leave, and then shortly after I left and Adam left, I took my bat and ball and came back to Ocala and started Think 2.0 and as an MSP with what I've learned. But in order for me to get set up under all the systems, which I'm not an engineer, by the way, I needed help. So I reached out to Adam, my other business partner, Adam Holmes, and he was helping me set up the systems. We were doing this at night. And we get along really well. And it just made sense to become partners.
Yeah.
He was looking for something. I needed that somebody. He was that somebody. Good fit. So he came on board, and that was 2013, and we started building Think up again as Think 2.0 as an MSP, and just started growing rapidly. And we were one of the first MSPs in town, true MSPs, back then. And we grew the business, and we're really successful. And all that time, we were trying to get Wes to come up and join us, but he's really hard. He wouldn't come up and be
I
part of
landed
our
in a
team.
good spot, right? And was happy with life. Things were going well down there. And then a little over 3 years ago, my mom passed away. COVID happened. It wasn't from COVID. It was cancer, unfortunately. And in the middle of the COVID, my lease came up. My landlord was like, "Hey, how about if I charge you double?" Like, I don't know about that double thing, man. I don't know that that's going to work out for me, right?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, my dad was living alone in his house, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you come live here?" Right? So I moved in with my dad, and then, I talked to Adam probably once a month the entire time, the 6 or 7 years that we weren't working together, weren't partners. And, once or twice a year, he'd be like, "Hey, when are you coming up?" I talk to Matt fairly regularly. Every time I talk to him, he's like, "Still got this partnership over here, man. We're waiting on you." And, life just worked out that, it made sense to, get my dad out of the house that he lived in with my mom, where he saw her ghost around every corner.
Yep.
And he's got family that's close. They live down in Lutz, so a little over an hour away. They can buzz up and he can see his sisters and hang out. So it made sense emotionally and psychologically to get dad picked up and moved, and the timing just worked out right, and I was able to make a clean, happy break with the place that I'd landed and come on as a partner up here.
And that was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bringing Wes on really opened the door for us. He's very bright-minded. We knew what we were getting. The three of us work really well together. We get along great. We all stay in our lanes, so to speak, when we work together. So bringing Wes into the fold with me and Adam was just like huge. What was huge about that is he brought in all that AI knowledge, and we're all smart. We could see the landscape. We knew we had to make a pivot and a change into that direction, and we started that as soon as he came in.
Yep.
But moreover, I want to go back a little bit. When we did come up and we and Adam did get together, we brought probably 4 or 5 engineers from that firm up to Ocala, hired some in South Florida because we have probably 10 people that work remotely. So we were able to bring on really good engineering that most companies don't have around here locally. So we have high-end engineers at our firm. We hire pretty much all tier 3 engineers, which is kind of the highest. And we believe in that model because we know that time to resolution to fix something is quicker when you have smarter people.
Yes.
So, we don't really have any 1 or tier 2 guys. They're all high-end guys. So we brought Adam on, brought all those engineers on. Then Wes finally came over 2 years ago. And then when that happened, we were like, okay, AI is here. We know it's going to change the landscape of everything we do, including in IT. It's time to make that change, and that's what we started to do. And I'll let Wes talk more to the AI stuff, but it's growing so quick, the adoption rate's so quick that it's like, okay, we got to do this now because in 5 years everything's going to look different. I mean, like he'll tell you that it's like, the Industrial Revolution, you had the internet. Now you've got AI, and we think AI is even bigger than all those things put together.
1,000%.
It's going to change everything.
Yeah.
So that's how we all got together. I think. I think it's a great story. We've known each other now for 10 years. We've been in business since 2011 as Think Technologies. We've been in business since 2013 with me and Adam, and now 2 years now with Wes. So
what is you said you guys all kind of have your different lanes. What is it that Adam what's his part of the business?
He's very technical. Adam and I both come from an engineering background. We all both started in the service desk back when we were younger. And he is more the day-to-day engineering stuff and also the back-end business stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Neither Matt or I are that interested in diving into QuickBooks.
I was more than happy to give him QuickBooks.
yeah, but man.
You don't have a CPA doing that for you?
No, we absolutely do. And we have an in-house accountant. But
yeah, I have that. Yeah,
but originally, when he first came on, we didn't have that, and he wanted to do it, and I was like, it's yours.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because he's a check the dots, cross the T's, check the I's, cross the T's guy.
Yeah. Matt and I are both gut decision makers, right? So to have Adam, Adam wants to forecast it out, make his model, best case scenario, worst case scenario, what we expect, look at them all. Do some thoughtful thinking before Matt or I jump off a cliff, right?
It's definitely a smart,
so
you gotta
it's
have that.
a really, really good balance. We push him to be a little less conservative and make decisions that he might not be comfortable making, and he keeps us from doing the crazy thing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, very interesting meetings.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you gotta have that person that can push back though against different things. That's even if it is just an employee in the team. You gotta have somebody that can give you the different perspective of where that could lead if you go that direction. So definitely a good thing, especially as a partner. I agree, in my opinion.
Yeah. Having someone you can bounce ideas off of that's gonna hold you accountable, that's gonna be a skeptic. Right? I tend to be very optimistic. I believe the world is sunshine and rainbows, and everything's gonna go great, and people are awesome, and to have someone be like, hey man, it doesn't always work out the way you thought it was going to. We should probably plan for if it doesn't, so that if we land in the middle, it's great. If it's opportunistic, it's really good. And if it doesn't work out, we're still okay. Right?
Well, and like you explained, you went through the housing crisis, you went through COVID. I mean, life happens, so you also have to take into account some of those things that, will be thrown your way possibly as a big wrench in your plan. So
normally the big ones you don't see coming like that.
100%.
Everybody says, "Oh, I saw that coming." Most people didn't.
No.
They just say they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can talk about the possibilities, but thinking it actually does happen is a totally different thing.
Right. So today, I would say we're a technology consultant. That's kind of what we are. We're not so much an MSP because we have Think AI, we have Think VoIP Services, which is our phone company, and then we have the traditional IT services managed services that we do for our clients.
Yep.
So overarching, we're a technology consultant.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah. And we have 20 employees now, and they're Most of them are here in Ocala or Gainesville, and then we have some spread out in South Florida and some remote other places.
So do you still offer the IT side where?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
It's the core of the business.
It's what we do.
So you have texts and stuff, I'm sure, that pop out to the businesses.
We do IT really, really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we solve about 90% of the stuff remote. We've got tools in place, right?
You can remote into the computers.
Yeah, if you don't have to touch something, you don't have to be there.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we provide on-site presence. So if we haven't seen someone for a while, we'll swing by and see how they're doing. We're big believers in budgeting and forecasting, right? So one of the very first things that we do with a client is we help them come up with a plan, right? Just like we're big believers internally in having a good plan. You know, we want to get that next 3 years mapped out for every client. We want them to know how much money they're going to be spending, you know, in 2027, 2028. We don't want it to be a surprise.
Yep.
And then we want to execute the plan, right? So it also takes the sales side of things out of the equation, because we really want to be, you know, part of people's business. We want to understand, how do you make money? What makes you special? You know, why would I choose to print with FIP instead of, you know, someone else? You
Yep.
know,
What's your differentiator?
What's your differentiator? What's your
exactly.
ideal client, right? Because, you know, in a true partnership, we're likely to refer business back and forth to each other. We're likely to use each other's services. Hopefully we get to know you, you know, we break bread and get together, and, you know, that's the vision. That's what we're looking for, is a real partner, not just transactional.
And our
stuff.
clients are long-term. Most of our clients are 8, 10 years old, and we don't lose clients. Once we get them, we keep them.
Now, so take me through, obviously now you've got all these different services you offer now. So you're meeting with a new client.
Yep.
What does that kind of look like, as far as like, what are you trying to find out about them to know how you can offer what you can do for them?
I think it's about understanding what their pain points are, right? At the point that we're talking to them, normally something's not going well, right? So what are those pain points, and how can we help them solve them? We've kind of changed the way we do our initial engagements. You know, traditionally in the managed services space, you would engage with a provider and they would come in with, you know, a $50,000 project to replace all your stuff because, you know, you use firewall A and they like firewall B. They don't like, you know, the computers that you have, and let's replace it all, right? And they are very cookie cutter, right? They want to come in and assume that the way your business runs is the way every other business runs. We take a different approach. Up at the beginning, up front, we have very few things that we're not willing to negotiate on. About the only thing is our backup solution, because we believe that's the most important thing. And then we learn your business, and over the first 90 days, we come up with a plan together. We figure out what really needs to be replaced, what really needs to be fixed. We try and come at it from more of a business process perspective, and come up with a solution that fits for you. And, you know, we're going to tell you, these are the things these are big problems, right? The next 30 days, those need to be resolved. These are the things that we need to tackle this year by the end of the year. Like, hey, you know, Windows 11 goes out into life in October. We probably should get that fixed by then. And then we'll have other things that are like more nice to have, should have, but they can wait. They're not critical. You know, we're
Usually
not going to
60 or 90 days out, we're talking about major infrastructure changes then.
Gotcha.
We
If there are
understand,
any,
you know, we
right?
finally understand what's going on in your business. But for the first thing we really do is we come in and we do a lunch and learn. So each client gets a consultant. So that consultant works with the client and gets to understand their business, and he's their go-to. So his name's Richard, our main consultant. He works with our clients. So what we'll do is we'll have a lunch and learn. We'll bring in our consultant. We'll bring in Wes. We'll bring in someone from the service desk. We'll bring in someone from sales. We'll bring in somebody that does procurement. And then we'll sit down with them and talk to them. This is how we operate. We'll bring in lunch. We'll tell them who we are, what they can look for when they call for service, who do they need to talk to for certain things. And we spend about 2 hours with them just so they get to know us. So we don't just come in as their IT company and go, here we are.
Everything's changing.
Everything's changing.
Yeah.
You don't know who to call.
Yeah.
But we have that introduction where we spend time with them so they really get to know us. And that we found that is a great way to launch that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Low upfront change. You know, we don't want to have a high impact at the beginning. We want to, you know, get ourselves grounded in how the business functions so that we can make recommendations from a place of strength instead of just coming through the door and assuming that the way we did it for everyone else is going to work for you.
Yeah. Now you said that you guys have like a fixed rate. Now, does that even if like there's any issues throughout the month, like that's all included in that monthly rate, or are those an additional?
Now, everything is included. The only
All
thing
you can eat.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing we may come back and bill you for that would be extra is if it was after hours.
Gotcha. Yep.
If we have someone who has a business requirement for after hours, we can include that. But for most businesses where, maybe a few times a year, you might run into, hey, I've got a PowerPoint presentation I got to have Monday morning. It's Saturday afternoon and my machine's not working. I need some help, right?
Yeah.
Once or twice a year. It's not worth paying the incremental difference every single month for something like that. We have a lot of country clubs. It's one of our verticals that we specialize in is high-end golf. Those guys have different needs, right? So they may have a contract that's structured a little different that covers them on evenings and weekends, or if they have on-season and off-season. So we accommodate those needs as well. But we try and provide a flat budgetable fee, as if we were your employee or a department that was functioning inside of your business and you knew what that was.
Yeah, and then projects, large projects.
Yeah, and then large projects that are outside of the month.
Yeah, I when I first bought this company almost 5 years ago, I took over the IT company they were working with. Was every time we need, first of all, nothing was working properly, so I was having to call them constantly. And every time I came out, it was $100 here, $200 there, $300 there. It was like, so nickel and diming me. And
that model beneficial to them.
yes,
For our model, it's not.
well, but also they weren't fixing the core issue; they were just band-aiding it. And then, I was paying so much every month, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I should not be having to pay this much.
Right.
This should be fixed one way, whatever. Even if I got to pay a bigger one-time purchase to fix the core issue, then monthly I know I can budget for.
Then they wouldn't get to bill you $100, $200 every time they show up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the key, right? On our side, you can call me 100 times. I can't bill you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm contractually required to fix it.
See,
if it was working yesterday, not working today, it's my problem.
And they never offered that solution to me, and so I ended up finding somebody else because, and I didn't know about you guys yet. So I obviously maybe we can talk after this. That was frustrating to me that they didn't even offer something like that to me, and or fixing the core issue, and then I kept being down constantly, and our business is like we need our systems up. And plus with VoIP, like it wasn't like an internet issue, but it wasn't even our internet provider that was the issue. It was like the router and everything else that, they had, the IT company had set up, and they just weren't fixing that part of it, which our phone lines kept going down and everything. So it was like, you're messing with my business now. Which, things do happen from time to time, even since I've switched, out of the 3 or 4 years I've been with them, I think I've been down outside of what, the normal power or network issues or, internet stuff, maybe once, maybe twice, in a 3 or 4 year period, that's good.
Yeah.
Little small issues here and there that can be fixed along the way, but not some that shuts down our phones or,
not the constant bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. So that is, I prefer that model as a business owner, having that, because, I trust you guys as the IT experts to come in and place what I need so that I don't have to constantly call you guys.
Right.
That's the goal, is that it's running so well, I don't have to call you guys constantly for different issues that pop up,
That's the mission statement.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like we turn into an insurance company, right? We're going to make recommendations. We're going to implement best practices and take great care of you. And in a perfect world, you pay me every month and I don't have to do anything because everything I did just works.
Yep.
Right. And from a business owner perspective, great for you, great for me. Your costs are controlled. You're up and running. You don't have to worry you're going to get a $10,000 bill next month. We're executing a plan that we've laid out that we know works for your business because you helped us come up with it. Right. It's the best way for a business to move forward.
Now, there's probably circumstances, though, that, maybe financially speaking, they couldn't purchase the thing they really need to purchase to get to that level.
Yeah.
So you might have to probably come out more often to to fix some issues?
We have some solutions for that. We'll do a HOS, hardware as a service. You know, we'll work with you
like
on
leasing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
there's ways of getting that accomplished.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the fact that you have many different options is always good because I've also learned that if you hone yourself into just one little model, and you guys are diversifying a lot too, so that's key. I think we've all learned from our.
It's funny you say diversification. Like we were doing on-premise phone solutions for people with the PBX called a phone system called 3CX, and back in 2019 we decided, you know what, we manage software. That's what we do. So phone systems are software. So we ended up taking our phone solution and putting it in a cloud environment in Azure. And we basically are like an 8x8 at Ring Central. I think we have over 150 customers now in the cloud environment. So we went all in and became basically a phone provider. The difference being is when you call for service, you're not getting a call center with thousands of people. You're getting our team. And you're getting local installation. So like when you call us and you become a client, we come on site, we install the system, we give you training, we give you ongoing training, and you get predictable service when you call us.
Yeah.
Unlike our competition, which will send you the phone and say, good luck, hope you have a good time installing that, watch the video. So that's the differentiator for us on the phone side is we saw a need and we said, let's go fill that need because people want a reliable phone system. And they want someone they can call that's going to come out and take care of anything that happens, and that's local. Mm-hmm. And when they call, they know who they're talking to, and they get a solution. So, so that's what we did back in 2019, starting Think VoIP Services. So, I think as you see a need and something that you can do, and you already do it well, you just kind of take it and go with it.
And as much as you couldn't avoid it as a technology provider. Phones turn to software.
Let me tell you what, they didn't want to do it. I mean, I brought that to them back 8 years ago.
Man, I'm not sure about this.
I don't want to do this, and I'm like, come on, guys, But I'm the 10,000-foot view. I don't have to make it all work. Yeah. I just looked at the concept. They made it work. And Adam and all those guys, and now today it's one of our biggest revenue generators is phone systems.
Yeah, and if anything, you can get to where you got that. See, that's where I is a struggle in my business is I don't have that guaranteed money coming every month. It's every month is a new sales cycle that you got to sell. So I'm actually working on developing a way that I can do a contract with people where they guarantee me a budget a month and type of thing, and where I can know what's coming in. So that's what you guys do is nice because you have that guaranteed
monthly recurring revenue.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That makes it easier for you guys also to know what you can reinvest in the company and grow more and everything like that.
Absolutely.
So,
predictability.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into the AI side of things a little bit. What specifically, because I think obviously, like you guys said, that's where we're heading in our culture is AI everything.
Right.
So what specifically do you guys provide on the AI side? I think this is your
This is kind of my domain, right?
Yep.
So our specific service that we're helping people do is what we call AI transformation services, right? And that is, I know it's out there. I'm a business owner. I know I should be paying more attention to it probably, or I know I'm paying attention to it. I just don't know how to get started. I've used it to maybe help me write emails. I've used it to solve what I call the blank page problem, right? Think about, back when you were in school and you had to write a term paper and you'd sit staring at that empty sheet of paper what do I do now, right? Just getting started. And AI is really good at solving that blank page problem for people. But those are like some basic, I'm going to call them unsophisticated uses. You can apply them to all your employees and get some base productivity gains. Everyone can be 10 or 20% better and faster at what they do and the content they produce, just by starting to use an AI tool. That's like easy, don't have to think about it. Of course you should be doing that. But the bigger play is when you start to look at your business processes and how we can go and probably recreate them so that we can apply an AI tool at each one of the steps in that process to make it better and faster and more efficient. So for instance, I might start out with a marketing flow that I'm trying to produce social media content. I might go to ChatGPT and do some deep research there and get that deep research content that comes out. I might also use Perplexity and get deep research from it, or Google Gemini and get deep research from it. I'm a big believer you should be touching and feeling all of the tools and finding out which one works best for you, because everyone's going to have a favorite. I'm a Claude guy. Other people are ChatGPT people, but I use all of them, right? So I pull all that deep research in, and then I have a prompt that's going to evaluate that deep research. I'm going to tell it about my business and what we do and say, hey, I need to come up with what is going to be my marketing plan for the next 12 months. So it spits out and gives me some options there. I never take the output that I get from AI the first time. I'm always going to iterate. I'm going to be like, hey, can we make this better? I don't like that, right? I treat it as like a thought partner, and I push back against it. I let it push back against me, and we get a good product that we agree on. Now I'm going to take that output from that. I'm going to go to another AI. It may be the same model. It may be a different model. And I'm now going to say, hey, I'm going to take my 12-month plan. I need to break it down into my quarterly arcs. And then I'm going to take the quarterly arcs and I'm going to break it down into my monthly sprints. Then I might take the output from that and go to yet a third prompt where I'm now going to say, hey, I need an anchor asset. I need to know what's my social media schedule going to be, right? Maybe I feed it in, hey, I want to do a podcast once a month. I'm going to have 3 Facebook posts and 2 LinkedIn, and I'm going to do some TikTok shorts and reels, et cetera, right? So it comes up with a plan there. And then I might go to a 4th prompt that's going to then decide, hey, this is my schedule and this is what I have to have. I need to have created all these digital assets in advance, and we've got an approval process that it needs to go through, right? So you can see how I'm not just using AI to help me write an email, right? I'm actually using it from the original first step of the process where I'm in creative mode all the way out to the in distribution, and probably automating that final push in the scheduling of the posting of the media when I get all the way to the end, right? That's just marketing. I can now take that same kind of process and I can apply it to everything else that I do in business. What we see today is a lot of people, you might have one person at your company that understands how this needs to work and they're really good at it. Mm-hmm. That guy walks out the door as a business owner, all your AI just walked out the door. So the next thing we need to help someone do is, how do we teach everyone at the business how to do these things? And how do we come up with standard prompts at each one of those places so that everyone does it the same way? Right? Because as a business owner, my process needs to be repeatable. I need to be able to give it an input and get the output I expect every single time. So then we work through that. Then we start to decide, hey, it'd be really nice if we started feeding in things that are unique to the business, your brand guide, your tone of voice, the taglines that you use, what your colors are, right? What your logo is, what your ideal customer looks like, your buyer personas, right? We feed all these things into different steps of the process to make the output better. So that's where we can step in and start helping a business operationalize AI and actually use it to make money.
Okay.
Not just to write an email. That's the easy part. Writing an email is the easy part. This part, that's engineering. That's where you need some help.
So with that, I'm guessing you still have to be with whether it's an employee, business owner, or whoever you're working with, probably have to have a lot of questions asked and answered to be able to output what is needed for that company.
Yeah, we have to understand the business.
Collaborative, yeah, you have to.
Collaborative.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's both top down and bottom up. And what I mean by that is the leadership team, the business owner needs to be telling the employees that work for them, like, hey, we're going to be using AI. It's not cheating. It's not optional, right? We know this is where it's going, so we have to do that. So it's a messaging culture buy-in thing from the top that you have to drive down. And then from the bottom up, you've got to get people using the tools. Like anything, the first time you use a tool, you're not very good at it, so you got to practice, right? So we're going to help them practice and learn and teach them from the operational side of things so that we can drive the adoption rate up and get the culture to change from the top down.
Yeah. I also like as a business owner, like you'll have a business that has this disparate systems, like 5 systems, and they have one person working in all these systems to try to get one thing completed, like one task completed, where this can all be automated now using AI, where you don't have that person having to go in and do all that. You automate it with AI to do that for you and come out with that same end product, which is really kind of neat for a business owner because you save time and you save money.
So let's say, okay, for my industry,
Yep.
I have promotional products is one of my things I offer. We have a software, whatever system, I don't know what you would technically call it, but we go on and for the promotional product business, every promotional product company has to go to wholesalers because there's too many products out there for somebody to print it all in their shop, promotional products anyways. Like I do my printing materials and stuff, signs and all that, but I have to outsource all my promotional because there's too many out there. So it lists all the different thousands of suppliers out there that offer the different products and ratings and everything. It's a whole thing. So I go in there and type, say if I'm looking for a tumbler, I type tumbler, gives me all my options of who offers tumblers.
Right.
Are you saying there's a way, I don't know if this is, I'm just asking, that I could say we would create a little chat bot, like a ChatGPT style, where I go in and say, looking for cheapest, best rated, however I'm looking for tumbler for my customer at this size, and then boom, here's your best one from this software systems or website, whatever it is.
You could search the internet and get you that information.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and everyone has like that aha moment when you're first starting to use AI where you have that realization that, hey, things just changed. For me, it was when I first became a partner at Think and we were coming up with our business plan and I was starting to do some forecasting and modeling, and I realized that, hey, I could take, our last 5 years of P&Ls and balance sheets and feed it into Claude and have him do an analysis of what all the growth rates had been like, and then say, hey, we want to double in size in 5 years. What do we have to do to get there? And it's like, hey, these things need to change, right? So he gave us some options on how we might start turning the wrenches on what we do in the business to meet our goal of doubling in 5 years. And it just kind of blew my mind. And then I realized I could go back and be like, oh, what if we did this? And 5 seconds later, he's completely redone the forecast, done all the graphs, the whole 9 yards. And then I was like, well, what if we did this and this? And he's like, spits it all out. You'll have that moment where something really applicable to you and you start to have a conversation and it provides you with some output or something that you're just like, wow, I can't believe it just did that.
The amount of data it gives you is crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Now,
detailed data, the way it's broken down, and it's like, it blows your mind.
Yeah. And it's educational because you can be like, how did you come up with that? Show me the math, right?
Yeah.
And it'll break it down for you.
Now, with obviously it being AI, you still have to probably double check some of the things.
Oh, without a doubt.
And making sure. But
I think that's why we use so many large language models. I think he uses like 5 or 6 of them. To
make sure you're getting all the double checking on all the different software AI systems that you got.
Plus, there's some things you can do to reduce those things. Are called hallucinations, right? It just makes things up, right? So in the way you ask the question, you can craft it to where, like, hey, I wanted you to make sure that any time you're assuming something, you tell me about it. I prefer that you don't assume. You can tell it anytime you're giving me a statistics, I need to know the source and I want you to provide me the link. Right. So when it says, 37 people or 37% of, some group of people agree with this, in the past, you're just like, I don't know about that. Can I trust that? But now it like links you to a study from KPMG that, you can go in and see the numbers like, okay, now I know I'm good. And in our marketing workflow, we actually put some procedures around what's acceptable. The source has to be within the last 2 years. It has to be from a reputable source. It can't be just some dude on Reddit that decided that this was what he was going to do, right?
Yeah.
And then we print it and save it so that we've got it so that we can use it as backup. So if anyone ever sees our marketing material and says, hey, you said 72% of these were going to do this and make me all kinds of money and I don't believe you, I think you just made that up. I mean, like, yeah, I trusted KPMG, man.
Yeah.
Got to go with something, right?
Every model seems like it has a different personality to me.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, they're different personalities. Like ChatGPT is different from Perplexity, different from Claude. They're just, it's really, really, for me, it's strange. I mean, these guys work with it more, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I've literally just started using like ChatGPT within the last year, and it's like changed so much because I feel like I have somebody helping me with a lot of the like research decisions, and like even like for this podcast, like one of the things that stresses me out most is like trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, like topics or anything. Like, not, I mean, obviously when I bring in a guest, it's easier because, you know, I can talk about your guys' stuff, but like just general when I'm trying to, you know, come up with a topic for what I'm going to speak about, and I literally try to describe, hey, well, first of all, I've created an identity already for my company. So it's got its own identity, understanding what I already provide. I do now. What can I talk about for this, that, or the other? And it's
That's interesting you say that, because when we go to see a prospect, we do that. We'll take the company's business, we'll feed it into the AI, we'll ask it questions. So when we come in, we're prepared to talk about what they do and ask the right questions. Yeah. And it helps us in that process. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I even like even small things like creating like legal documents. Like I've even like said, hey, can you create this blah blah blah, and then with my name and this person's name as and spits it out. And I say for Marion County, you know, it spits it out exactly the way it should. And I'm like, wow, okay.
So if you haven't seen some of the crazy stuff that the newest models of ChatGPT can do, and probably the thing that my dad's aha moment was when the O3 model came out. It seems like it was forever ago, but it was just over 90 days ago. I had seen some stuff going on Twitter where it was just doing some crazy recognition things where like people were taking a random picture somewhere and it was telling them where they took the picture from. And I stood out on my doorstep and took a picture of the street sign at the corner in front of my driveway. And I fed it back into ChatGPT, and it gave me the latitude and longitude of my porch. It took it about 10 minutes, and you can see this chain of thought, right? So you can see what it's doing, and you can see it's like zooming in on the street sign. It's looking at the colors of the street sign. It immediately saw like the house across the street, and by the type of architecture was able to say this is probably Central Florida. You know, it picked a few counties, of which Marion and Alachua was one of them, and it eventually decided that based on the code in Marion County and the color of the street sign being different than it was in Alachua, that it was probably in Marion County. And then it looks like architecture around on top of the world, and then it was like, here's where you're at. I was like, oh man, that's like next level stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be very interested to see over the years how that all changes, and even infrastructure wise for our country. I've listened a little bit about how much it's going to take for like energy and power and everything, the grids to move us forward in AI like we need to be or want to be, I guess. Yeah. And it's all crazy to like hear a little bit about. I mean, I don't know as much as like I'm not a genius on that matter, but
they're wanting to bring nuclear plants back for a reason, and it's the power. Nuclear plants, they want to bring those back to power these huge data centers that they're all wanting to build. There's got to be a way to power them, and look at what Musk just did in Memphis. So it's only going to grow from there.
The deficit is about 10 gigawatt right now. Dario Amati, who is the CEO of Anthropic, which is behind Claude, which is probably the second most effective frontier model available today. He said, just to train our models in 2025, we're going to use more electricity than the country of New Zealand.
Wow.
Right? They're talking about data centers that are the size of Manhattan, right? And that the only thing they're going to do is train models. And you look at like the data center in Memphis that Elon Musk made for Grok. They literally, with that much compute power, you say start your training run now, and it took 130 something days to finish. So it's not something that you can interrupt. That much compute power just crunching away. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's something we're going to have to figure out. We don't have enough power.
No.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Cooling, water, right? I mean, there's lots of infrastructure-related problems that are going to have to be solved. And I think that's why, you've seen I'm sure everyone's seen the news with the new American plan and what there's a lot of focus on infrastructure there. There's a lot of focus on energy. There's a lot of focus on, how do we keep the brightest and the best people? Some of the pay packages that we've seen lately coming out of OpenAI, I don't know if you saw, but the Meta has started a new AI lab for superintelligence, and they went out and poached a bunch of engineers from other AI labs. And there was a guy who turned down an offer 4 years, $1 billion.
Wow.
To come do AI, large language model research and programming. So we're talking about, they're not paying someone $1 billion to help people write better emails, right?
Yeah.
This is
this
is going to be impactful.
I mean, they say this is going to be something that we can use more in the medical field and things like that. And
so next time you get your labs back from Quest, drop those into Claude.
My wife just did that.
It's amazing.
I scared her, not going to lie.
Yeah. But it's absolutely amazing. And then you can ask questions on each specific thing, and it gives you a response. And a pretty damn good one, too. So it's...
and constantly getting better.
Yeah. So if you had to, say you have a target market or anything like that, what is your specific target market for a customer?
So let's talk about it. It's probably by business, right? On the phone side, everyone needs phones. Any industry, any size, we're down to do phones for you. So we're pretty wide open. On the managed services side, traditional core IT, call it bigger S's into small, medium-sized businesses. So, 25 to 150, 200 employees is really our sweet spot. We move into what we call a co-managed model, where instead of becoming your entire IT department, we start to fill in the skill gaps that you might have in your internal IT department. And in that model, we're good up to a couple thousand users. On the AI transformation size, we'll take anything and are ready, willing, and able to take pretty much any size business. Probably not Fortune 500, but anything underneath that.
Yeah.
We're ready to sit down and talk to people.
Okay.
We're already working with some consulting firms, some high-end consulting firms working with their clients. So we've started to edge into that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as price point, do you feel this is still probably not much competition for some of the AI side of it around here as much, but as far as IT, phone, is it all pretty?
Yeah, we're pretty price competitive. Depending on when you're listening to this and looking back in time, this may be a little bit off. But in the managed services space, if you thought in being in the $150 a seat per person kind of range, you're probably in the right ballpark. Sometimes it will be a little cheaper, sometimes it will be a little bit more expensive, depending if you've got some security and compliance requirements that other people might not have. The phone side of things, we're going to be competitive with whatever the current market is looking at. We pay close attention to that. We try and make sure what you pay us is not going to be that different from what you would pay Ring Central or 8x8 or one of the other large national VoIP providers. And we believe that our local touch and in-person install and training and hand-holding and work through the migration with you and help you with your number porting, that's invaluable. And that's a great add-on and value add that we provide people for the same amount of money you'd pay any of the national VoIP providers.
Okay.
And then the AI side of things completely depends on the size of the business and the type of engagement they need and how much help. We normally start out upfront with an assessment. It's 28 questions. It does take some time. We deliver that to the leadership and upper management team so that we have an idea of where they're at and what their current methods and skills and knowledge is so that we can come up with a good plan. We start off with either a 6-week or a 3-month program. We have that assessment that we do. We come in with a plan, and then we spend a day on site with the team. Depending on how distributed the team is, it may not be on site. It may end up being a Zoom call. And then after that, we're going to have regular meetings with the leadership team and then regular meetings with what we call the AI champions team, which tends to be the mid-level management team that's actually doing the day-to-day. And we're going to identify the processes and help them learn and educate them. We're going to teach them to fish, right? We don't necessarily want to take their money forever.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the engagement, we're hoping to get, a 12 or 24 month engagement where we're having that same kind of training pace, where we're meeting regularly with the leadership, we're meeting regularly with the AI champions team. And then over a period of, a couple of years, we get people up and running and AI native, and, we help them tackle this big change. That's,
awesome. Yeah,
I think, where we're going.
Perfect. Yeah. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you guys do offer, or is that kind of your?
I think that's probably it.
That's really all we offer. Those three disciplines there. And our verticals that I would mention are, we do a lot of country clubs for some reason. We got into those years ago. Yep. Construction. We do a lot of manufacturing. And then we have legal and
professional services.
Professional on the side. That's really the verticals we look at. But anybody who's heavy in computers, we're going to help you out there on the IT side. As far as AI, I think that pretty much falls on anybody as well, as long as they have the size and the depth to absorb the technology. So,
okay.
I mean, it all depends on what you do, right? So if you have the need, we have the solution.
I mean, we're definitely gonna have to have a conversation after this for my business. Definitely interested to see if there's, especially on the AI side, how it could improve. And now I have to have you come in and see what my systems I even use.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, and you probably know better than I. Once you get in there, you're probably, oh yeah, that's a cakewalk, to pull all the data from that. But I personally don't know how to mess with it.
Yeah, and this is where, I tell business owners all the time, you've got to understand the tool, right? So start using it. Use it for everything.
Yeah.
Plan your vacation with it. Plan your kids' meal plans for the week. Put your grocery lists together. Right? Help you with the legal stuff. Like, our attorney probably hates us. We take everything we get. And so we used to, you'd get the 30-page contract and you'd be like, oh man, I don't understand any of this. And you send it to your attorney and he'd bill you 20 hours, right? Now you get the 20, 35-page contract, you give it to Claude or ChatGPT, and he gives you the one question that you need to ask your attorney, and it takes him 15 minutes. Right? Yeah. Because the rest of it, he gets, right?
Yeah.
So,
or any questions that you have. A lot of us are questions asking it,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys for coming on the show and telling us about your business. Definitely interested to understand more how you can possibly maybe work with my business and help me out. And I'm sure it sounds like you can work with pretty much any business for the most part.
We
usually have one discipline that'll help a business. Either it's phones, it's IT, and definitely AI. But everybody's built different. You got to be able to use the technology. Yeah. And if you can, then we're a fit.
Yeah, and if a company's not trying to get into AI, and they definitely need to, because if you don't get there, I think the people that are getting into it and your competition are gonna just.
What's the adoption rate?
So if you stop and look at some of the growth rates, it's just insane. Like, Anthropic started the year at $1 billion in annual revenue. They're at $5 billion.
Wow. Right.
In 7 months. They got they went from 1 billion to 2 billion in 3 months. They got their next billion in 1 month, and they're
that just from subscribers?
Just subscribers, right?
Wow.
ChatGPT went from no users to 100 million users in 5 weeks. It took Google 8 years. We just saw a company called Lovable, which is an AI vibe coding. I don't know if you've heard that term, but it's people who don't write apps that are all of a sudden able to write apps. They went from they didn't exist to $100 million in 8 months with 23 employees.
Wow.
Right? It's just crazy what the impact this is going to have. We look back at the Industrial Revolution. It took, 5 or 6 generations over 100 years. This one's going to happen in 5 years or less.
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. I've already seen, just because until you get introduced to it, once you get introduced to it, you're like, why haven't I not been using this my whole life? Know? So, because even my wife was skeptical when I first introduced ChatGPT to her and like how she could start using it for even her work purposes, like asking it questions. Obviously, she's more on like a legal side of things. She can't go in depth with what she asks, but like general like questions that just help her. Or just honestly, she uses it for personal questions all the time. So especially with her health, she has Lyme disease, and so she's constantly like asking a lot of questions and like advice for food intake and just the different things and what can help her. She's utilized that, and it's crazy how I call her Dr. Amanda. She already was that way anyways because she's like essential oil this, and she's got a whole book like what you use. And now she can use ChatGPT to like even help with that side of things. And she's constantly like figuring out better ways to help with my dad, his health issues, and even like generally me or our pets. Like it's crazy.
It's an amazing resource.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
What do you want to tell, I guess, best way to get a hold of you, and if there's a website, phone number, email, whatever, however you guys want to best be reached?
Yeah, I would say go to think-team.com or thinktechnologies.com to go to our website. There's an info page there.
Yep.
Or you can call us at 352-789-6043. I don't think I'm going to put my personal email out there. But yeah, those are the two ways to get a hold of us. Go to think-team.com or thinktechnologiesgroup.com and
Sales at think-team.com will get to us.
Yeah, sales too.
So if you want to drop us an email.
Okay.
Or stop by.
Yeah. Where are you guys located?
We're on 8th Street.
We're right by, across the street from the elementary school. Right there on 8th Street.
Which elementary school?
8th Street.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Right downtown. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys liked what you heard, reach out to these guys. They will do an assessment, sounds like. And if you're a good fit, then obviously these guys seem like they would take good care of you, and you won't regret that. Reach out to them and like, share, subscribe. And until next time, let's grow together.
It's time to step up, yeah. It's grind time, no more letting up. No, running faster, further, no more running up. Yeah, giving my all, no more giving up. Listen to me, step, it's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. Step, it's time to step it up. Yeah, it's time to step it up. It's time to step up.